Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, investigation underway after man shot, killed after police chase. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
And apparently, if you're not happy with your large impersonal propane dealer, you're not obligated to use them. We're Shardelli Fuel, family owned and driven to treat customers right. We can help you make the transition to Shardelli Fuel. Expect more. Visit cfuel.com for new customer incentives. Bullet hole in the window of a Rochester business, Easy Street, is evidence of the violence that erupted Monday afternoon. Tuesday morning, investigators continued gathering evidence at the corner of Route 125 and Oak Street. That's where the pursuit ended when 38-year-old Douglas Heath crashed his car into the building. Moments after crashing, Heath would die in a shootout with state and Rochester police.
All of a sudden, you see a gentleman in a white T-shirt come out the passenger side of the vehicle, and the cops yell to him to put it down, and you hear a bunch of gunshots.
Deborah Haynes Whitehead and her husband ducked for their lives, even as they managed to capture some of the shootout on their cell phone. Police had warrants out to arrest Heath on charges of drug trafficking and fleeing from Maine police. New Hampshire's Attorney General says there is evidence that Heath would not go peacefully.
Quote, may be in possession of 3 firearms, close quote, and that Mr. Heath had, quote, no intention of going to jail.
Rochester police spotted Heath's car by a local gas station, and when Heath returned to the vehicle, he took off. The Attorney General says no one else was injured, but the president of Easy Street says workers were sitting by their windows when the gunfire began. 2 state troopers and 2 officers with the Rochester Police Department were involved in the shootout. Following procedure, all 4 have been placed on administrative leave. An autopsy on Heath is scheduled for Thursday morning. Reporting live in Rochester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Plane carrying hip-hop star lands safely after blowing tires, getting diverted to Massachusetts, then NY. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
It's Nissan's bottom line model year-end event. Get big clearance savings on the last of our 2018s. Like Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist. Hurry into your local Nissan store for great offers like this.
This lands safely about 10 minutes ago without incident, but again, the plane was originally here to Westfield Barnes Airport. It was flying for a few hours before being diverted again, this time to Stewart International Airport. That's in Orange County, New York, and that's where it ultimately landed. Now, the Gulfstream 4 took off this morning from New Jersey's Teterboro Airport when those 2 tires blew. It had been heading to Luton, England, and that means, of course, it had a lot of fuel. Now, on board, 16 people, including rapper Post Malone, who performed last night on the MTV Video Music Awards. And here's some sound from air traffic control just after takeoff.
Sir, we just thought the tire blew, so we might need to come back, sir. Just thought we might have blown a tire, sir. We blew a tire, so we need to come back, sir.
All right, now that jet did not go back, of course. Instead, it circled for a time. Then it was diverted here for that emergency landing at Westfield Barnes. And it was diverted here because of its long runway, but then it was diverted yet again, of course, this time to Stewart. That was around 1:30 this afternoon. And, of course, as we've just learned, that plane did land about 10 minutes ago, landed safely without incident. So reporting live in Westfield, Nicole Burley, WCVB News Center 5.
All right.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. One killed, one taken to hospital after crash on Main Turnpike. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
Stay organized all year long with a Shed. Shed Happens is Maine's leading manufacturer and retailer.
State troopers tell us one person is dead and another person is hurt after a crash in Wells right here along the turnpike. We're on the northbound side. You can see they have one lane closed as they're trying to reconstruct the scene. Right now they're waiting for drones from Bangor to come and help them in that reconstruction. We're told the driver was taken to Maine Medical Center. They're trying to reach them and talk to them right now. The people appear not to be from Maine. They say this happened around 6 this morning, and it looks like the driver crossed over the lanes, hit a guardrail, and then slammed into a tree. But state troopers say they have a lot they need to investigate.
At that time in the morning, there's a lot of people traveling in to get to their jobs, and it's pretty heavy traffic, so we are fortunate that it is a one-vehicle crash at this point in time.
And as troopers are reconstructing the scene, they're also asking for help. This happened around 6 in the morning. They're asking if anyone was on the road at that time and saw something to give them a call. In Wells, Kathleen Jordan, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Okay, and now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Tuesday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you this evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. CNBC IQ 100 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the green and went up. Oil closed in the green and went up. US 10-year closed in the green and went up. EUR/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 touches all-time high, ties record for longest bull market. The S&P 500 hit an all-time high on Tuesday and tried the record for the longest bull market ever, and investors bet that the strengthening economy and booming corporate profits seen under President Donald Trump's first 2 years would continue, despite recent trade battles. And we are following breaking news coming into our newsroom. Paul Manafort found guilty on 8 counts by jury. Judge declares mistrial for 10 other counts. Paul Manafort, who was accused of tax evasion and bank fraud, was found guilty on 8 accounts by a jury Wednesday afternoon. The judge also declared a mistrial for 10 other accounts in case. Overall, there were 18 counts.
Okay, I added the delay and a mistrial for 10 other account and 8 to your reminders.
No.
Delete this reminder?
Sorry about
Okay, I deleted it.
Sorry about that, everyone. We did not want that. Suspect in Molly Tibbetts' death held on federal immigration detainer, Iowa officials said. Let's take a listen to the video.
If you're not happy with your large impersonal propane dealer, you're not obligated to use them. We're Shardelli Fuel, family owned and driven to treat customers right. We can help you make the transition to Shardelli Fuel. Expect more. Visit cfuel.com for new customer incentives. The body of Molly Tibbetts, the missing University of Iowa student, is believed to have been found. Fox News reports that 2 sources say Tibbetts' body was found Tuesday, bringing an end to an over month-long search. So far, there have been no details about where the body was found. Tibbetts went missing in mid-July after she had left her boyfriend's home to go for a jog around Brooklyn, Iowa. Her family reported her missing the next day after she failed to show up for work at a daycare. Local news reports that officials won't confirm much, but more information is expected to be shared soon.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. The body of Molly Tibbetts, the University of Iowa student, has been missing for weeks, has reportedly been found. And Iowa officials said the suspect in custody in Molly Tibbetts' death is being held on a federal immigration detainer. Authorities charge the 24-year-old Kristen Rivera with first-degree murder. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Bye, everyone.